You know, I like experimenting with many different things, different games, different series. I'm open to try anything. This world is big and vast, and it'd be kind of stupid to say limit yourself to just one thing. I can't realistically catch up with everything, of course, so some things that are popular might just pass by my radar. I mean, take a look at my channel. I'm into so many things that allow me to understand so many different cultures, perspectives, and things that I never personally experienced or even thought about, even if it may not be exactly in my field of interest. The day of this upload is really important, as it's one of my close friends' birthday, LazerSharc. If you watch any of my own Musume videos, I quite literally mention them at every point since they've been one of the defining forces that got me into the series. And for his birthday, he requested a very specific series he's been into for a very, very long time. Now for all my videos, I like having a catchy, admittedly clickbaity title, you know, something that gets the point across, maybe capitalize one of the words or question, you know, etc. No matter how tough the situation is, I can always find some way to create a unique title that illustrates my thoughts and the point of the video. However, today, that streak has been broken because of LazerSharc. Because after watching Girls Und Panzer, I do not know what to tell this video. Girls Und Panzer, translated as Girls and Tanks, is an original anime series focusing on, you probably guessed it, girls and tanks. I am stepping into entirely new territory here, so forgive me if I accidentally say some wrong info. Going off Wikipedia and scanning, it appears as a show about girls and tanks, and the activity they participate in called Senshado, the way of the tank, which you can imply to be shooting the fuck out of each other. The thing that piqued my interest the most though was the production behind it. This wasn't just girls and tanks shooting each other, it was girls and actual tanks shooting each other. They had an actual military history advisor for this show, and all the tanks depicted in the show are from World War II. Now, do I recognize any of these tanks? No, but if you're a history buff, chances are you'll recognize it. And from what I can see visually from the show, there's a lot of detail to differentiate them from the others, which I can appreciate on a surface level. Now let's get something straight. This is a very old series. I'm talking early 2010s, and I was shocked by how popular this series was. There is so much extra content it got besides the original anime. It had so many OVAs, a manga, games, a 4-film adaptation of one of the mangas, #pause bro. This is the kind of shit I was talking about at the start of the video. There were so many things that happened that passed by my radar that when you actually take a look, you'd probably be like, how did I not notice this my entire life? It's pretty much a multimedia series akin to Love Life. Yes, people only watch Love Life, watch their second show. Huh, it's reminds you of Love Life. I'm being serious though. Back in the 2010s for almost any anime series, they plastered their shit everywhere. Either be random games, CD dramas, whatever you can think of. They probably went in that area just for the fun of it, and even as I'm speaking, I'm not done scrolling down the page. So from the get-go, I knew I was heading to something that was gonna be big, massive even, and not something I could easily watch all in one go. Again, there are over 10 OVAs, that's just a whole anime season. And even though they were made at different times, that is actually crazy. And don't forget the goddamn movies. What in the world? Laser, if you're seeing this, I'm so fucking sorry. I only watched the original anime. Now, the original anime. It's pretty fucking good. It definitely got me nostalgic for a lot of anime in this era. The voice acting, the art style, the moe design, is that what they're called? I forgot. I was 6 years old when this came out. It's definitely dated in some ways because of the era that it was in. There's some scenes that I was like, yeah, I want to keep my monetization status, but there's also something really charming about the show. I don't really see this kind of anime anymore. It's in the bygone era, and seeing it be incredibly sincere with certain tropes and cliches that more modern audiences tend to make fun of / use as a joke really makes it seem like you're taking a look at into the past with no judgment whatsoever. So the story follows this girl named Miho, who's your normal average school girl. She's nice, respectful, knows everyone's birthdays for some reason, but she suddenly gets a call to action by the student council to have her participate in Senshado, an event that has girls and tanks shoot each other to appeal to men? Anyway, Miho has a very traumatic past with tanks, and even attended this school specifically to get away from it. Now as for that past, that's a mystery for now, but after getting peer pressure and having her 2 friends join her, she decided to participate in Senshado. The first episode is actually really good at setting up the world and the rules of it. There is a lot to fucking take in here, and you're expected to very much just go along with the wind. And it's like, school idols dancing to save their school? Yeah, sure, I can accept that. Spiritual manifestations of yourself that can beat the shit out of people? Sure. Evil Light Yagami? I guess, bro. Girls and tanks that somehow don't die? Okay, now you lost me. The whole reel of the history of Senshado and why it's done is definitely interesting and kind of paints the world in a very male-oriented light. It's pretty much propaganda, and while the rest of the series doesn't really focus on it, it definitely got me thinking about this world's rules and the hierarchy of it, which I'm not sure if it was intentional or whatnot. Showing you can be cute and strong at the same time? Hell yeah, but doing it all for men is crazy, and this may just be a joke / commentary considering the reel is based on, 1930s-esque film reels. Considering how other aspects of the show aren't really taken that seriously, you could easily say the purpose of Sun Shadow has been changed over time to be more casual and fun, in massive quotes there. I will say though, the Sun Shadow benefits are crazy, bro. Get me in that tank. Also, that end episode is genuinely crazy. What the fuck do you mean the entire town's on a ship? How does that even work? This raises so many goddamn questions, and like I said, you just gotta go with it. I won't be going over a plot-by-plot summary because I don't like making those kinds of videos, but I would like to detail some of my experiences with the anime. I took notes on watching the series, and here's just a glimpse of what I was thinking when watching the show. You can tell I was very perplexed on certain topics. I low-key felt alienated on certain aspects of the show. It's one of those things where it's like those who know, but it's history-based stuff. There's always some moments that make me think there's some inside joke or something that only tank knowers will get, which is probably the case, but it's not to the point that becomes gatekeepy. The show does do a pretty good job at establishing all the parts of the tank so that general audiences aren't lost when things are in the heat of the battle. There's a pretty sizable cast in Girls Und Panzer, and while I don't resonate with every one of them, I do want to talk about a few of them. Akiyama Yukari was the one I honestly thought was the main character of the show. I don't know, she just has that kind of vibe. She's the most passionate in tanks, and literally infiltrates schools just to get more knowledge. And yes, in my notes, I said this was you, Laser. I'm sorry, this is one of the few times I can definitively say this is a you character. Mako is probably the character I resonate the most with. She's depressed, and she gets involved in the story simply because she's sleeping, and they wake her ass up. I love a character who just gets shoved into the plot, and there it is, she's a part of key art now. There's no going back now. I think a cool part about this show is simply the action. CGI on the girls are sometimes a bit off, but the tanks are really good and definitely the one thing they put extra effort into. The show does a really good job at explaining all the roles and logistics of it. Like, how do people see out of tanks? How do you clean it? How do you shoot? How do you communicate when all you hear is loud as tracks going on and shooting everywhere? I'm not sure how accurate it all is, but I'm gonna be the general audience and act like this is completely realistic. Including the fact that no one dies in this show. I don't give a fuck what kind of justifications are given in lore. I'm sorry, you have to wrap this around you. From the second the show starts, you are expected to believe no one dies. They are blasting tanks and having white flags be flown up, but no one even has a scratch of damage. No ears being pierced, no legs being gone, no suffocation. I'm not asking for an M for mature rating, of course. It's just something that I still question to this day. A man shoots himself 20 times somehow and lives? Okay. No one dying in Girls Und Panzer? I quit. I do gotta give kudos to the fights though. I think I learned a lot from using the terrain to your advantage during tank battles. Even though we get scenes of tanks going through random ass suburban neighborhoods, we do get tanks fighting in actual terrain you likely see in real life. I think. There's not much power scaling involved, or simply which tank has the better gun, and even if it is, it's all about skill and strategy, how to overcome those that have better armor and weapons. There's a whole ass episode where they have to use their cell phones instead of radios because the enemy was tapping their shit, and it is very smart actually, although it brutally reminded me of how old the show is. Probably the best part of the show is when the rules and format have already been established, and we get to see the characters just straight up lock in and go flow state to ensure their victory. It's quite literally one of those sports animes you've no doubt seen. There is a lot of representation in this show, in terms of countries and groups that are shown, which matters a lot because World War II, bro. There's a lot of foreign phrases, and you get a sense of understanding of the different types of tanks they're used, and how they use their climate to their advantage. You learn a lot from the show, given that the characters have to learn a lot on the way as well. And guess what? There's a reveal towards the later half of the series where they figure out that their school is gonna be shut down if they keep having poor performances during the tank battles. And hey man, maybe the love life connection was warranted. Wait, is this why you wanted me to watch the show? I don't have a real general structure for this video because again, I don't know what to title this video. This was a nice watch though, and one of those anime that you feel like was iconic back then. Shout out to the ending where Mako gets to have all her late tardiness fully excused because her ass was too depressed and sleeping. That's the type of ending that gets you feeling all good. And also being the shit out of your sister. This is one of those series that I will probably not touch again due to the overwhelmness of it all. It's kind of like One Piece, where it's only if you really grew up with it or got into it when you were younger. But I can give a lot of respect for its popularity and probably the real life impact it had on history. Like Umusume. Even though Girls Und Panzer came out first. This was very interesting. If I can know a little bit more about you, LazerSharc. Anyways, if you're watching this, make sure to shout out happy birthday to LazerSharc. And Laser, if you're watching this, I'm probably right next to you while you're watching this. And if I'm not, I probably am. You just probably don't know it. What Noodle did not know after this was that something would happen to her spine shortly after that would cause immense pain to not have any sleep. And it would be really unfortunate for everyone, and also how everything I was doing. Fuck.